Osharal, Maycha'al ban Aaron. Aaron, because I am a priest of the tribe of Levites. Yes, that's AKA Levites. The Kabari word for Levites or Levi is Loe. So I'm a Loe priest of the son of Aaron. Welcome back to my channel, and I'm glad to have you once again. Today's topic we're going to talk about family. And this is an important topic to me because I have family. I was born into this world and I came into a big and beautiful family. You know, um, didn't really have a father growing up, but I knew who he was, and didn't really have much relationship with him until about 21 years after my 14th birthday. So you do the math and see how long it actually took for me to have a relationship with my father. But I had a great grandmom, a great mother. Oh my goodness. They really laid down their lives for us to have a life that we couldn't even dream or imagine. They worked hard. They work hard in the restaurant business, man. And if you know anything about restaurant business, you don't own the restaurant owns you. And the reason why I said that is because, my grandmother and sometimes my mom, they would get up, like 4 a.m. in the morning to prepare breakfast for those who are coming in between 6 and 10, you know. And after that, they prepared for lunch. You have to pre-prep for the day before. And so, for those who come in for lunch, and sometimes she starts serving lunch at 11:30 because people come in. Some people get their lunch at 11:30, and that goes to around 2 o'clock. From 11:30 to about 2, and then she just prepping for dinner for the dinner rush. And people would come in for dinner anytime between 3:30 to 8 o'clock, sometime even 9 o'clock at night. And of course, she had a bar with all of that. So for those who drink the liquor, and they would come in and they won't leave the bar till late at night. Sometimes 11:30, 12, 1 o'clock. Now you imagine doing that day in and day out, 7 days a week. I used to do that 7 days a week, day in and day out. So you think if you leave the bar by say 1 o'clock, and you're prepping to for the next day, and you're washing up and everything. So by the time you get out of there, it could be even 2 o'clock, depending on how you clean up your system. So to go back into sleep for about 2-3 hours to do it again, I watched my parents do that. And I tell you, I wanted nothing to do with the restaurant business because of that. But it's amazing how as the things that you run from in life, it's the things that you are really attracted to, are the things that is prepared for you to do, is the things you're running from. So be careful of what you're running from. But I say all of that to say, my grandmother, when my father was not there for me, my grandmother stepped in and be dad. She was daddy. She was grandma and dad. And she made sure we had a roof over our head, clothes on our back, food in our stomach. And that was her mantra, or our motto. That was her mantra, man. It's like, as long as you got a shelter over your head, clothes on your back, and food in your stomach, you're okay. And so she made sure we had that. And we never lacked anything. You know, in that house, it was 9 of us in that house, all boys, with just my grandmother and my and my mom. They make the nine, so it's 7 boys, three of which is my brother, one who's one who's passed away now, and my 3 cousins. And it was just beautiful growing up in the house. It was amazing, just having that brotherly love, even for my cousins. They weren't cousins to me. They weren't cousins to me. They were brothers. We saw them as brothers. They saw us as brothers. We grew up as brothers, and we're tight. We're tight even to this day, you know, because that's what family do. You go through some things, and you bounce back from those things. You know, But then you get older, you get older and you started to see life differently, and you don't want to live under your parents' rules anymore. And so you break out and you do your own thing, and everybody just break out and do their own thing. Some get married, some just go at work, whatever the case may be. We break out and we start having families of our own. For me, my startup, man, was, it wasn't planned. I didn't plan a family. I was just having great sex and children just start appearing. You know what I mean? The first the first girl I got pregnant, she didn't want to have the baby, and I could understand why, because she was going to college and she had a baby before, and not for me, but a baby for before, and she was really looking at her career, and another baby would hold her back. I understand it, but I didn't want any part of that, because you see, I don't believe in abortion. I just, it's here. There's a scripture that says children are a blessing from Yahweh, from the Lord, from or Allah aim. So, and I know the story. When I was younger, my mother told me that, she wanted so much a girl. She wanted so much to have a girl. She had 3 boys already, and she wanted so much to have a girl. And, when she saw that I was a boy, she was very, very distraught, very, very upset. She didn't want to just take him. She said, take him, take him. She didn't look at me. And, her thought was to leave me in the hospital. Hey, it is what it is. That was her thought, to leave me in the hospital. But she said she heard my voice. She heard me cry. She knew my cry, and she heard me cry, and she fell in love with me. Man, that's what my mother told me, that story. I never forget that. She fell in love with me. She fell in love with my voice. Over the years, I didn't know I would become a man who has influence, who influence people through this voice. But over the years, I've influenced a lot of people based upon the knowledge and information that I've received. And some people might think I'm crazy, or some people might think, man, this guy just want to be heard, or man, this guy want to be seen, or this guy just want to. Let me tell you something. I wanted none of that. I don't want to be heard. I don't want to be seen. But you know what? When you have that fire burning inside of you, you can't help, man. You can't help but to speak what you've seen and heard, and most and importantly, what you've experienced. And so that is why I always speak. I wait my turn to speak. I listen very, very carefully, because though I'm a speaker and I love to speak and I love to motivate and I love to give, I also love to listen. And I'm a great listener. I hear what you're not saying. I see your body language. I see your eyes. I see your reaction to the words. I see the way you look when you look to the left or to the right and you're accessing the brain. I see it all. I hear it all, because I have a discerning rook inside of me. And let me tell you something. If you must know anything about Maycha'al, if I got something to say, I'm going to say it. I may not say it today. I may not say it tomorrow. I may not say it next year. I may not say it in the way you like to hear it. It may sound disturbing to you, threatening to you. It may just sound like outright disrespectful to you, but I'm telling you this. Know this for one. Know this for certain. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it, because in order to be used by the Creator, you got to be able to say what He tells you, what He gives you. And when He gives them to me and I discern it, I speak it. And that's why I'm here today. That's why I'm doing what I do here. I don't do this for money. I don't ask anybody for money. I don't do this for money. I come on my live and I share my heart with people. I share my experience with people. And I want y'all to know it's all about family. It's all about attitude, the right attitude, having the right attitude and gratitude. I'm telling you, I learned some things. And what I'm learning and what I'm imparting on you, man, you might not see the value in it. And that's okay. Because not everyone was meant to see it. Not everyone was meant to hear it. Not everyone was meant to understand it. And so for the few who are discerningly aware of these words that are coming from me, I pray that when you hear them, man, it change your life to action, because I'm telling you, if you're hearing it and you're meditating on it and you're even analyzing it, because some of you are analytical, but if you're not acting upon it, man, then it's a waste of time for you. And let me tell you something. Knowledge is information. It's all knowledge is. And the world is being controlled by information. Those information are put in laws. And let me tell you something. The world is governed by laws. And if you don't understand these things, I'm telling you, you're in for a rude awakening. So, with that experience, of growing up in that large family of 9 people, even though we didn't have a so-called father in the house, my brother stepped up. My older brother Owen, he stepped up as dad, and he wasn't playing. He ruled with an iron fist. At least for me, the baby. I was the baby of the 4 brothers, but the cousins, I wasn't the baby of the cousin. That was Connelly. Connelly Roach. Yeah, he was the baby. So I still had somebody I could beat up. But yeah, so I grew up in a family, a large family, and I've been around family of 18 and 14 and 12 lived around me. So I have a lot of experience when it comes to business, and when it comes to work family, and business partners and business family. And church. Don't get me started with church. Pastor, preacher, Bible talk ministry leader, the whole 9 yard. Children, you tell the whole 9 yard. So I know a thing or two about family. But for me personally, married, I was married twice. But through that marriage, through my first marriage, my second marriage, and the other partners that I have out there, 7 children, 7 beautiful children. And I now have 6 grandchildren. I know a thing or two about family. And so, the question we have to ask ourselves is, what is it? What is it? The first time I heard the word family from the scriptures is when Adam said of his wife, "For this reason shall a man leave his father and his mother and be united to his wife. And the two shall become one flesh." It's with the creator. The creator creates family, and it's his original intent for man. It's not good for the man to be alone, he says. It's not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him. Until you find that helper that is suitable for you, you're not a family. You're not a family. At least your own family. But you can be a part of a family, even without a helper suitable for you. But I'm telling you, you're missing some things. I was married before, and it was a tough, hard marriage. I got through that marriage, and I was kind of like, I kind of gave up. I kind of gave up on marriage. I kind of gave up on black woman. You know what I mean? Like, I was just done. I was just going to do my thing. I was going to have multiple women out there. And I started that journey. I started out with one, then one led to 4, and then 4 led to 7. I had 7 women at one time. I was juggling 7 women. And during that life, just being me and don't care about nothing, just doing me. I had money. I had a good job. I was just doing me. During that time, I met my wife. Of 25 years. We've been together now 25 years. Let me tell you something. The best thing, and one of the best decisions I've ever made. I want you to hear me. They're one of the best decisions I've ever made. And there's no human being on earth. I'm going to say this very loud and clear. There is no human being on this planet that I love more than my wife. You see, for this reason shall a man leave his father and mother and be united to his wife. It never said united to his father. It never said united to his mom, friends, auntie, cousins, children. Some of you are living your lives for your children, and you don't realize how much you're destroying your lives and destroying your children's lives. You don't understand this. Putting all your energy into your children, and you don't realize you're destroying your children. Why I can say that? I know, because trust me, I tried to do that with my first wife when my marriage was falling apart. I tried to live for my children. But let me tell you something. Those children are not stupid. They know the truth. They can see right through your lies. They can see right through the things you're hiding. They know all your hiding place. And I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, when I understand these fundamentals, change my life. I can be a great father without being in the house. And some of you are staying in the house because you just got to be there for your children. Some of you are staying in the house because it's financially feasible for you to do that. And you don't realize you're setting a precedent for your children. And so I want to talk about family, because but before we do that, before we get into it, I just wanted to give you an outline that I know a thing or two about family. I came from a large family, a well-rounded family, even though I didn't have a dad in the house. Was well-rounded. Learned a lot from my grandmother, learned a lot from my mom, learned a lot from other families to get me to the place of leadership. I learned it because I first had to learn how to lead myself. Been put in charge of a lot of things, responsible for billions of dollars, make things happen, responsible for thousands of lives, make things happen. So with that introduction to me knowing a thing or two, I wanted to have this talk because there will come a time when you may have to say goodbye to your family. There may come a time when you have to give them up. The Messiah, the Mashiach says, when I talk about the Mashiach in the Bible, I'm not talking about the one that we've been brainwashed with. I'm talking about the true Messiah, whose name is Yahushua, the true Yahushua. His words has been, they paint a picture of what he looks like with blonde hair and blue eyes. And they twist his words, but we have it. We have it reconstructed. We have the true words. We have the true Hebrew Matthew. And so we can look at that and see exactly what he said, what he meant, and what he taught. And I'm not here to go through all of that right now, but when you know the truth, you have to speak it, even though others don't want to hear it. But he spoke of, there comes a time when a man have to say goodbye to his family. He spoke of the time when a man have to give up his family. If you're not willing to give up, a matter of fact, he used these strong words, hate, he said. If you're not willing to hate your father, your mother, your sister, your brothers, your wife, your children, even your very own self, you cannot make this journey. I wrap this up into another of his saying, another of his word. He said, unless a man is willing, let's put it this way. He said it, let's say it the way he said it. When a man finds the kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in the field. Now, when a man finds it, he hits it again. And then what do? He goes away and he sells everything he has. And he bought that field. It's that important. Nothing else matters. And I'm telling you right now, here and now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whoever is watching this, I will give up everything for the kingdom. Everything. And so if you're willing to give up everything for the kingdom, you better be sure you're right. Because not only would you disappoint yourself, you will disappoint others. And guess what? They're going to ask you, where is that God you've been talking about? You're going to see our God, Yahweh, whose name is Yahweh. This is the God we worship. All nations have their gods. All religion worship their gods. We're not a religion. We're a people, a covenant bloodline, remnant people here in the wilderness who is led by Yahweh through a ravenous bird. Harash, Malach, Mabe, our prophet. And we believe in him. And we are here because we believe. And we wait the destruction of Babel to fulfill the prophecies promised to us for over 500 years. Years. So we look forward for retribution, but not from man. Not by weapons of war and mass destructions through chemical warfare or anything like that, but by his roke. And I'm going to play a video very shortly here. It's about 10 minutes from the ravenous bird. And I want you guys to go and check it out. Check out the ravenous bird on YouTube. Look up these videos, man, because I'm telling you, sometime this year, something is about to happen. Something is about to happen that's going to shook up the world. You're going to see Old Testament prophecies coming through. You're going to see revelation being revealed to you. You're going to see some things. What you're seeing now, all the disasters that are happening around the world, all the disasters that are happening around the world, the flood, the fires, the hurricanes, the tsunamis, the earthquake, the hail, all of these things that are happening around the world is a fulfillment of prophecies. And it's happening because his remnant people, the Creator's remnant, the small number of his family chosen to be here in Madbar, has obeyed his voice. And ever since we got here, we have fulfilled prophecy. And ever since we start to chant, ever since we started to sing and walk in the covenant of the Creator, all of these disasters start happening. All of these disasters, 7253, 2023, all of these disasters start happening. 2024. We came here in 2023 and start happening in 2024. And now 2025. And I'm telling you guys, you haven't seen anything yet. It's going to be intensified. Millions and millions of people are going to die. This is the year of his vengeance, and it's coming to pass. This is the gnashing of teeth and the grinding of teeth. This is the time when people are going to call upon their gods and pray, and nothing is going to happen. Because they're praying to a false deity, a false God. They're praying to a triune God. This is the time when people are going to call and look for help, but there will be no help. And so their love will wax cold. And when they cannot get the help they seek, they will curse the living Creator. But we're here in the wilderness, and we're singing and praising and calling upon the name Yahweh. And so if you can trace your lineage through the transatlantic slave trade, man, you have no idea who you are. And I'm going to tell you who you are. You are the covenant bloodline seed of the promise made by the Creator to his friend Abram. But not every one of you are going to be saved, because, not every one of you are going to hold to the information. Not every one of you understand family. The Mashiach says, he said, who is my family? Who is my mother, my brother, my sister? And he turned to his disciples and he said, there they are. There are my mothers and my brothers and my sisters. And you know why he said that? Because he gave us the answers. They that do the will of Yahweh. Your true family is those that do the will of the Creator. Your true family is those who understand what's about to happen and make provision for that, make a way of escape. And so, as my family and as your family member, I'm making a last appeal to you. The doors are still open. Will you be given eagle's wings to fly out into the wilderness where you'll be nourished for a time and a half? That's equal to 98 years. Time and a half is 98 years in the wilderness. We have already accomplished 2 already since 2023. So we have 96 more years to go. Here is where we will receive our power. Here is where we will become a great and mighty nation with the sword of Yahweh under a ravenous bird, while he's devastating the world. While he's devastating the world. Fire is coming from heaven. I've seen that in the scriptures. And he's going to destroy the city of Colombia. It's not the first time he did it. It's not the first time he did it himself. There are many, many nations and many, many cities that were extinct through his people. But there are cities that he destroyed himself. Sodom and Gomorrah is one of them. Nineveh is another one. And I'm telling you, he's going to destroy the city of Colombia sometime this year. And if he don't, then I have to question everything I believe. But when you believe, ladies and gentlemen, you don't sit back and say, what if? Because I'm not going to be part of the coulda, woulda, shoulda. I am not going to be part of the coulda, shoulda, woulda gang. I'm going to position myself in the ark. And you know the crazy thing about this ark? The crazy thing about this ark is that when they got in there, when Noah and his family got into the ark with the animals that was chosen to be in the ark, no rain came. No rain came. So if they didn't know that no rain was going to come the time they entered the ark, what would they be thinking? What would they be thinking? What would they believing? What would they be believing after working 120 years to get this ark finished? No rain? No rain? Am I hearing things? Was I crazy to think that the voice of the Creator could speak to me? No, I must have had crazy questions. But one thing I've learned, he wasn't the one that shut the door to the ark. The scripture says, and Yahweh closed the doors to the ark. That means whosoever was outside couldn't get inside. And whoever was inside couldn't get outside. And no rain fall, ladies and gentlemen, for 7 whole days. 1 week. 1 week. But after the 7th day, it started pouring like crazy. But not only pouring, the Bible teaches us that the floodgates of the deep open up. The sea becomes part of the land. The water under the earth comes to the surface. In a matter of minutes, the whole world died. You know, Noah had some friends. I'm pretty certain he had some friends. It wouldn't be surprising if some of his friends helped him even build the ark. Noah had some brothers. I'm pretty certain he had some brothers. I'm pretty certain he had some aunties and uncles. I'm pretty certain he had some doubters. I tell him he's crazy. We don't know if Noah had more children. He could have had more children, but maybe the only three sons. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? I'm just telling you what I think of. And when that rain start to come, can you imagine some of his friends, aunties, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters at the door of the ark banging it up? Please let me in, knock. Please let me in, Noah. Say, I can't let you in. I didn't close the door. I don't have the keys. And then he hears the sound of the screaming of some voices he know. And his wife hears the sound of her mother and sisters and cousins and friends and aunties and uncles. Then their sons and daughters hear their sons and their wives hear their friends and aunties and uncles and cousins. And their wives hear their brothers, sisters, uncles, aunties, cousins screaming. But there's nothing they could do. I think for me, being in Madbar here, the reality of my life is this. If this is true, and the prophecies are true, if this is really from the Creator, and this is really going to happen, the reality, I have to watch my family dies. My brothers who I love, my 3 sons who I love, my 3 daughters who I love with their children, my grandchildren who I love, my mother who I love and adore with everything in me, friends, acquaintances that I've come to respect and love. I have to watch y'all die. And there's nothing I can do. And I've been practicing what it means when it says, and the Creator shall wipe all the tears from their eyes. And I see why. Because we're going to be crying for our family members. And I'm saying I won't shed a tear. I will not shed a tear. But in that moment, when you pick up the phone and call me, in that moment when you reach out for me via social media, I have one sentence for you. As we would say, one word for you. Get here if you can. Get here if you can. My oldest son once asked me, he said, Dad, he said, what if 2025 come and pass and nothing happens? And that's a very valid question. You look around, how many prophets that come and say, God tell them this and God tell them that? How many false prophet came and says, do this, do that, and drink this wine and kill yourself off and catch the spaceship? How many prophets now are preaching that there's a ship going to wait for you on the ocean, that people are to go to these oceans and mountains waiting for spaceship to come and pick them up? How many false prophet has come by and destroy so many lives? One of the biggest false prophets today is one who caused a great disappointment, William Miller. But he used the scriptures and he shared a lot of interesting stuff. But outside of that comes a Ellen G. White. Outside of that comes a Seventh-day Adventist church, of which is the fourth largest church in the world. The finance that comes through this church on a weekly basis. And ask yourself, what are they doing for their parishioners? The great disappointment. People sold everything they have. Some go by the beach, some went to the mountains, looking for Jesus to come back. When he never came back, they went back to the drawing board and say, oh, this wasn't supposed to be him coming back. It's supposed to be him moving from one side of the sanctuary to the next side of the sanctuary in heaven. And that's how a religion is born. We looked at these things, and you have to ask yourself questions. But the power of choice, you see, we make choices based on the information we received. And sometimes some of those choices could be good or they could be bad, based on the information that you have and the understanding that you have at the time. But a decision has to be made. Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. An indecision is a decision. If you choose not to, you just made a decision. If you said maybe, you just made a decision. If you said yes, you've made a decision. So whichever way you take it, already made a decision, and you will be judged by it. And I'm prepared for the consequences of my actions. I'm prepared. Because if you make a decision and you only look in one way, then you're not prepared. You have to look at the negative, you have to look at the positive. Because only then will you have a circuit. Everybody wants to be positive. Oh, let's be positive. But nobody wants to look at the negative. You got to look at the negative. You got to ask the questions. I'm not saying that you should doubt. I'm saying that you should know. Because knowing is half the battle. The other half is your action and your attitude towards it. So, family. I have a new family. Mashpakate. I have a new family. And my family is those who believe what I believe. Those who are here in Mad Bar, a.k.a. the wilderness, a.k.a. the Philippines. And not just anywhere in the Philippines. Those who are here in Cebu, Philippines. Because according to the prophets, that's where we are to be gathered. Mabane is not the one who said this. Mabane is the one who deciphered it for us to understand. The prophet Yeshaya'o, aka Isaiah, was the one who said this, amongst other prophets, Jeremiah, Ezekiel. So these words are not coming from Karash. They're not coming from the ravenous bird. They're not coming from Mabay. They're coming from Yahweh through all his prophets. Even the Mashiach spoke of these things. So I have a new family. And what is a family? What is the definition of a family according to the dictionary here? The definition of a family according to Oxford Dictionary is a group of one or more parent and their children living together as a unit. Second definition here are similar. All the descendants of a common ancestors. All the descendants of a common ancestors. Design, adjective, designed to be suitable for children as well as adults. So what is a family? A group of one or more parent and their children living together as a unit. All the descendants of a common ancestor. I want to start there. That's what this is about. It's about family. Those who do the will of the Creator in heaven. We are a group of descendants from the 13 tribes of Maycha'al, aka Israel, the true bloodline covenant people who can trace our lineage through the transatlantic slave trade. And our prophet comes from among us, the ravenous bird, Korash, Mabe, Nabe. And Yahweh has called this ravenous bird to restore his counsels. The man he has called, the man he has chosen. He had handpicked this man. And I believe in him with everything in me. I told him the other day at class, I said, man, I'll follow you anywhere, man. Because I'm a guy that I will follow anyone who follows Yahweh. And this is the man that Yahweh used, the creator, Yahweh, the eternal Elohim, to restore his name from the Far East as it was written according to scriptures. Everything according to scriptures. And we're not reading the scriptures from the transliteration. We're reading it from the biblical text, the original language. And everything that I could even understand from the transliteration has come true thus far. Everything. The only thing we're waiting on right now is for the District of Columbia to be destroyed. That's the only thing we're waiting for. And if you look at Sodom and Gomorrah, when the Creator destroyed those two cities, he destroyed the surrounding cities with them. He didn't just destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. He destroyed the surrounding cities and fields and land. He destroyed everything around them. So if you think about the city of Columbia, Washington, D.C., what's around Washington, D.C.? What is the nearest towns and cities to Washington, D.C.? Philadelphia, New York. What's around it? Will he destroy those cities? We only have to wait and see. We only have to wait and see. So if you can get out now, my friend, if you can get out now, I say get your passport. Get your passport. Pack a small bag and bring as much money as you can. And wait it out here. I say wait inside the ark. That's what I say. Don't be foolish. Don't be foolish and stay. And then you join the group of coulda, woulda, shoulda. Wait it out here. The summer months for us, according to the scripture, is not 4 seasons. We don't have 4 seasons in the scriptures. We have 2. Summer and winter. And the summer month starts in March because our year starts around March, late March, early April, springtime. And it ends November 1st. That's the summer months for us. The winter months start November 1st, right back to March. So if the scripture is true, if our prophet is the true prophet, if Yahweh is the name of the creator of the heavens and the earth, then Babal has to befall this year. And if it doesn't fall this year, then any reasonable thinking man have to question everything. Doesn't mean that we're going to stop. Just mean that we have to question. Because there can't be no mistake here. The Creator doesn't make mistakes. He said he doesn't change. That's what he said. He said he would remain silent from his throne for 500 years, and he did it. We thought 400 years. It's 500 years, because 5 months prophetically is 500 years, and he did it. That's why most people, and I used to preach this too, because I lacked understanding. 2019 ends 400 years of enslavement. 1619, first slave into the Americas. But we ain't counting in the 1500s when the first slaves enter the Caribbean islands. So 1619 and 2019 is not the time frame. That's why when 2019 came, nothing really happened except for that COVID-19, which lead up to the progression of this happening, all these happenings. And many took that job trying to save their lives. But you didn't know the word of the Messiah, what he said. If you try to save your life, you will lose it. And so you've lost your life. You're just a branch cut away from the tree that has not yet withered. But you have absolutely no substance. You're not connected to the tree. And if you know anything about prophecy, the Creator has planted 7 trees here. And they're about to harvest. And you know you don't reap a harvest in the wintertime. You reap a harvest in the summertime. So I say to those who can trace their lineage to the transatlantic slave trade, get out now. Get out now. Get out now. Get out now. Wait it out here. Do yourself that favor. Get your passport, get on a plane, and wait it out here. Prove us wrong. Because at the end of the day, why should you die? Because you lack faith. Because you lack belief. All right, I'm done talking. I'm going to play a clip from the Ravenous Bird here, just to give you an insight in prophecy. And This one is called the day the king of Madai set himself against Babal. You're going to see in this video what we're actually doing here and what causing all this mayhem. Because the prophet tells us it's not by might nor by power. It's not by might nor by power, but by my rock, saith Yahweh. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, ravenous bird. If I can get this one up now. My whole computer screen gone blank. Of course, always, never fails. Never, never fails. Not sure if you can hear me. Not sure if you can see me. But my whole screen gone blank. Okay, here we go. I think we're back.
שמח מלאך מדי על בבא, ברצם היום הזה, בחדש הקשרי, בקשור לחדש, בשנה שבית על הפי מאתם 53.
Hold my same, on my same, my rock, the
Lord, my people, by you kingdoms, by you mountain riders, you chariot and its drivers, men and women, by you old, by you maidens, the birds and the flocks, farmers, this is what we're chanting, because we're commanded to do this. Yeah! We're commanded to besiege the city, but from a far country. Toda la yao. And that's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. When you follow the commands of the Creator, your life is changed. Your life is changed. And you're never the same. And you have to watch your loved one die because we think this is it. We think that this is how life is going to be. The Creator's name has been lost to us. And this was prophesied, ladies and gentlemen, by the Creator himself, that we will not use his name. He will remove his name and his language out of our mouths. And that he will send us into slavery via ships. And that we will serve the gods that our fathers, ancestors did not know. And he made it abundantly clear. He gave us the evidence. He showed us what that looks like. He said the gods of wood and stone. And so the God of wood is Christianity, the emblem, symbol of a cross. The God of stone is Islam. And so you got to decide which God you worship. And there will come a time when you will call upon those gods. You will call upon your Allahs. You would call upon Jesus. You will call upon Buddha. You will all call upon Krishna. You will call upon Dagon. You know, somebody asked me the other day, who worshiped Dagon? Somebody asked me that. Who worshiped Dagon? Alfredo, I think you were the one that asked me that. The whole Catholic Church is the worship not only of all the gods combined, you can tell by the, the, the statues and symbols on their dress, on the priest's gown, the pope's gown, the mite that he wears on his head, that's Dagon, the fish god. He wear the yarmulke also on his head. Come on, man. The papacy, or popery, is an incorporation of every form of worship on this planet. That's Rome. That's what they do. They believe that every god is similar. And if you don't realize this by now, everyone that has come through a religion, every single god that comes through some type of religion here on earth are triune. Go look it up. Look it up for yourself. Every god that is worshipped today by and through a religion is a triune God. Even the God Allah is, well, Allah is one. Look at the symbolism, the beads. Come on, man. The crescent moon and stars. They say Allah is one. Yet they march around a rock. They march around a rock covered up by a cube. And they bow down to it. And every single Muslim bow down 5 times a day to where? Mecca. They don't bow down to Allah, the God they claim they worship. They bow down to Mecca. So either their God is a rock under a cube, an idol God, or their God accept idol worship. And Christianity bow down to a man on a cross who is part of a triune God. You know, my brother said to me the other day, he says, you know, Christian, listen to you cursing bad word and everything. And ever since you get down to the Philippines, when you start cursing. If he knew anything about me like he claimed he does, I start cursing in Maine, in Maycha'al. But he's right about one thing. I'm no Christian. I don't think I've ever was a Christian. I was trapped in that religion and giving my heart to it, my time to it, and my money. How much money I give in tithes and offerings? You know how much money I gave in tithes and offerings? But I always questioned Christianity. Ever since I was a young boy, since I was 8 years old, I questioned the system. And I know Christianity inside and out. And I'm telling you, it's not it. It's Christianity doesn't worship the one true God. And I prove that to you simply by the words of the false Messiah that you believe in. He himself said there's only one God. He himself said he worshiped that God. He himself said that God that is the only one God is his God. Need I say any more? I'm not here to talk about your God. I'm here to talk about mine. The God of the true Hebrew. The God of the true Israelites. Not the ISUCIC or whatever they call themselves. Who run up and down in purple and getting large numbers of our brothers to believe in the system. Yet they don't realize they don't have a prophet amongst them. They have a church leader. Because the whole organization is under a 503 our 503(1)(c), our 501, I don't even know what do you call that. You're led by a false prophet. He knows the scriptures. Don't get me wrong. He knows some things. He knows he knows some things, but he got some things wrong. And if you stay in America, if you stay in the cities of Babal, you're going to be destroyed. This is why the command says, come out of her, my people. Come out of her, so that you receive not of her plagues. I gave you my warning. I gave you the message that was given to me for you. It was put on my heart when I went up to the mountain to pray this morning. Couldn't stop thinking about it. I came down here and I gave it to you. Now you decide. Choice is yours. As for me and my house, we will serve Yah. We will believe in his prophet, Mabane, Ravenous Bird, Karash. And my family is those who believe. Doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I don't care for you. Doesn't mean I stop loving you. It's just that I understand where I stand. Shalom. Shalom.